everybody? So it's Nick Savaz, man, aka Mr. Be Prepared, Not Scared, right? So, as you can see the topic of the video, man, what are you led by? What's leading you in your life? And is that thing a good leader? I came up with this talk to a couple people, going through certain things happening in my life. And it's like, you know what? Somebody else could be going through the same thing. So we're going to get into it, man. And I think that it can be broken down to four categories, right? And most people are led by one of these four things or some of these four things, right? So the four things that I think that people are led by is either sex, entertainment, emotions, or spirituality, right? So we're gonna break down all of them and what are you led by, and whatever you're led by, is that thing a good leader, right? Let's talk about sex, right? So sex is one of those tricky topics, right? One of those tricky subjects because it can be confusing, right? So sex, it can really play mind tricks with your mind, whereas though you think that it's love or it's intimacy or it's connection when it's just sex. Think about when you were a teenager, because most people are introduced with the idea of sex when they're a teenager. Like depending on who you are, if you did it or not, but you get introduced with it, right? So most people, from a man's standpoint, like if you're around older cousins, uncles, fathers, older people in the neighborhood, right? You grow up thinking that because you hear different stories, you grow up thinking that the more women you sleep with, the more of a man you are. Me and a good friend of mine was talking about this particular subject, Kobe. But like the more women you sleep with, the more of a man you think you are. So you grow up with this idea of like, man, I'm gonna sleep with a lot of women and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, right? And I did a video on like the manipulator. So you can go back and watch that. But the manipulator becomes who he needs to become, or the secret agent, right? Becomes who you need to become to complete that mission, right? So just say like you led by sex. So it's only sex, right? You'll say what you need to say or do what you need to do just to get that sex, like for that mission to be complete. And then think about, like I say, when you introduced or you're a teenager. So think about your mindset as a teenager. You like focus, oh yeah, the mission. So like now, you go back to like teenage things. So like you lying or you cheating or whatever. Then sex is another thing. if you try to be something you're not, like some people go broke, trying to get sex, because now somebody like, oh yeah, I only like steak dinners and shrimp. Now you gotta become the dude that just get you steak dinners and shrimp or whatever. You know what I mean? So you spending money that you don't need to spend, or extra money, or because you led by sex and you don't see it, you blinded by that sex. And some people can just be running game. And then also remember that when you have sex, man, you exchange the energy. That's what sex is, an exchange of energies, right? So like everybody you laid with and everybody she laid with, like y'all kind of intermingle them together. So like with that being said, sometimes if it's just when it's just led by sex, your whole energy might be off because of that reason. You're confused on what's the purpose of the sex. So all of a sudden, just be mindful of the sex, and be mindful of the energies of that's being exchanged, man, and know that that same type of energy is going to be around that sexual type relationship, because you had to lie or deceive or whatever you had to do to get that. So now you got to become that person, and you can only pretend for so long. So just be mindful, man. All right. The second one, entertainment, man, entertainment. So this one to be careful with, because if you led by entertainment, man, you all over the place, because most people know, if not all, like when you look at TV or listen to certain things on the radio, it's influenced. So whatever type of undertone they wanna influence you with, they'll put it on TV, whether it's fear, whether it's for lack of a better word, ratchetness, like whatever it is they want, whatever agenda that people want to push, they put it through different signs, whether it's radio, TV, or whatever. So just think about when, like, if you watch Like we'll go on the female TV. If you watch female, like you watch female TV or stuff of that nature, right? Like Love and Hip Hops and stuff like that. Like it's got like a negative undertone. Like they want to paint a certain depiction of certain things, and if you keep watching that and you're not careful, man, like that same type of energy, because everything has energy in this world. Everything has energy. So that same type of energy that you watching, they fighting, they cussing, they doing all this other stuff, right? It'll end up getting embedded in you, and then you'll start doing certain stuff, and you won't even know it. Because, like I said in one of my other videos, and then it's an old saying too, like energy never dies, it just gets transferred. So if you watching all this stuff, like on the entertainment stuff, and it's got like a negative undertone or whatever type of undertone it got, and you're not careful with, your temple, all that stuff will get into you, and you'll start acting in a way that that's not familiar to you. So you definitely gotta be careful with that, man. I used to always think it was funny when my grandmother would say that when I was growing up, why did you watch? Oh, I ain't worried about that. But then, you start acting a certain type of way because you see it, and then, like, subconsciously, you want to act this way because, oh, that's cool, that's this. And then if you watch, like, certain movies, and, certain movies just got certain undertones, man. So just be careful with where you place your energy, man, and, like, what type of energy you allow in your space. So that's the entertainment bit of it, right? All right, so the third one is emotions, and this one is like the most dangerous one because um, this one can have you in a lot of trouble really, really fast, right? So if you live by your emotions, just say somebody do something to make you mad or whatever. Some people, when you get mad, you see red, so you act real irrational. You'll do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. So if you let by your emotions, you really, you're really a slave to it. And then if you let people stir up certain emotions to you, if you really think about it, right? If you really think about it, that person becomes the puppet master and you become the puppet. So if that person knows what buttons to push to make you mad or tick you off and stuff like that, and you lose control and you fall victim to your emotions, then essentially that person is ruling you. That person is controlling you because that person made you act in a way that was out of character or made you act a certain type of way to make you do certain type of things. So this one is probably the most, not probably, but this one is like I believe the most dangerous one because it got just so much consequences on stuff that can happen from these certain type of emotions. Somebody make you happy, then you let by happen. But then every time your emotion change, your your demeanor changes, right? So you definitely gotta be careful with that. And don't give nobody that much control over you. Like you need self control. Once you got self control, man, you can, not saying that emotions not gonna come, but you can handle them more, you can mandate your emotions more. Once you got self control and like you really got self control, like you control your emotions, which means that you then control, your environment, you control the outcome of certain things, man, because you are what you attract what you are. So like if you keep attracting certain things, like on an emotional standpoint, or if you attract certain things in your life, man, like you might just want to look in the mirror and say, man, what is it about me that's attracting these particular things? So that's just self-awareness and self-control, man. So we're gonna talk about the last one, man. The last one is the most. I feel like it's the most important one. Last but not least, man, spirituality, man. And to me, this is the most important one. And I say it's the most important one because this one is the one that requires, the most change and the most self-reflection. This one is the one that requires the most time, the most that you spend internally with yourself because you know yourself. You know all your goods and your bads and all that stuff. But if you led by spirit, technically, you're like your spirit wants to do the right thing. your spirit always wants to do the right thing. Your spirit is pure. Like it's only when it get coupled with everything else, like the overthinking, your emotion and stuff like that. And only when stuff like that happens, or when you're led by something else other than your spirit, it's only when that happens that you kind of feel a certain type of way, right? So, with your spirit, man, you gotta make sure you when you led by your spirit, know that it's gonna be all types of attacks, man. Like because the thing is how just the energy working and just the negative or the dark forces or whatever, right? It's like if you spiritual got some type of spiritual relationship, like the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So that's your mindset. Once he destroys your mindset, then your spirit and everything get you thinking and all that stuff get you off your game, right? So when you know this, know that when you're in your spirit realm, like that's the realm where you can hear God the most, you can talk to God the most, and you move in intuition instead of intellect. So when you're in this particular place now, it's like this is the thing that makes the devil upset because now you living in what like you're now becoming that little God because you got dominion over everything on earth. So with having that dominion, man, like it's going to be all types of force to try to knock you off track and stuff like that, man, to put you in a different type of space. So for me, like certain things you definitely got to still self-evaluate each day and do it every day. I try to be better each day than I was the day before. So I try to self-evaluate each day and say, what did I do yesterday? What could I have done better? How could I have made that better? And it's like it's only going to come once you want to change. And it came time that I wanted to change for myself, man, because I was tired of like, man, I'm going through all these years. I'm always, like I have good months, then I have months when I'm struggling, and then like, man, I want to be on a consistent pace of not struggling, man, just always doing good and living good, man. So I think that once you stop being led by your spirit, you'll do that, man, because you'll just gravitate to what you need to gravitate to. Like if that makes sense, you'll attract what you need to attract. I feel like that you attract what you are. So whatever type of state you're in, if you in the emotional state, you're going to attract some emotional stuff. If you're in the entertainment state, there's going to be entertainment like that's going to lead you like, I gotta watch this show, I gotta do this. If you're in a sex state, you're going to attract people that just want sex, and then you're not going to understand this stuff because you're like, man, why am I always attracted? Because subconsciously you're attracting that stuff to yourself, man. And until you really change and until you really self-reflect or self-evaluate, you're still going to stay in that place. I think that with spirituality, that's the only one out of the four topics I named that's going to make you grow. It's going to make you elevate. You're going to grow if you're led by your spirit. With the other ones, you're going to stay trapped because you're not going to want to get out of yourself. Oh, I've been doing this for such and such years, just that. Yeah, and what results have you been getting when you was doing that? So if you want those same results you've been getting, stay trapped. So stay in that entertainment, stay being led by entertainment, emotion, sex, and all that stuff. Yeah, do that. But if you really want to change, man, try something different. Be led by your spirit, and your spirit is not going to lead you wrong. It's only like when you overthink stuff in your mind, like you feel what you need to do and where you need to be. So, a quick story, real quick. So, like, a friend of mine, a real close friend. She a girl. She got a lot of brothers, and our father and stuff like that. But when we was together or whatever, we would be talking and we had conversations. Like me, I get real like I like people that can hold conversations like intelligent conversations. And it's like, man, oh yeah, why you think like that? So how you come up with this? And at first it was like, oh, like it was like a backlash, like fight, like, yo, you ain't gotta do that with me. Why you doing that? It's like, oh, my bad. But I'm so used to have to over talk or have to prove my point to my brothers and my father because they were misogynistic that I'm sorry I got that bad habit. And it's like, yeah, I understand it. And a verse that stayed with me is wisdom is the key thing. And all I get understanding. So it's like, even though I understand it, I'm not going to accept that. Like, you don't have to do that with me. Like, I really want to see how you think, and I really like how you think in your thought process. Like, we cool. So if we on this level, don't think about that. We good. So I think that more people are led by emotions than none, and some people don't even know that they're led by their emotions. But like I said, man, if you're led by your spirit always will take you to the right place. It's only when you couple it with everything else that you go, you go left or whatever the case may be, right? So I hope that these videos help y'all, man, because they help me in getting the research and doing the stuff and taking my notes. It's like it's therapeutic because it forces you to self-reflect. Well, it forces me to self-reflect and really think about what I want out of life and really what I want to do and how can I get that from changing the patterns or the old habits that I had that kept me stuck in that place. I'm not trying to be stuck. I'm trying to elevate, man. And when I'm trying to elevate, I'm trying to elevate everybody else that's around me. So I hope these videos help y'all, man. And like I said, all my videos, man. So like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. If it's topics that you like or whatever, like send me messages, comments, and all that stuff. I answer that. So focus on the mission, not the money, man. Be prepared for death, not scared of death. Be prepared for life, not scared of life. So be prepared, not scared, man. Focus on the mission, not the money. New self, new wealth, man. And like I told you, my mission is to help people spiritually and financially, man. Like, and that mission is so much bigger than me, man. Like I gotta achieve that. So until next Tuesday, y'all have a good one, man. Y'all be blessed, man. And if you see somebody down, man, like just try to bring them up. All right. So talk to y'all later. Y'all be blessed.